I'm a sleep researcher. My name is Holly Simons, and for my whole adult life, I've been studying dreams. I am currently the head of my city's sleep institute. The concept of dreaming has always fascinated men. The mystical think of them as revelations. The scientific minds assure you that you can only dream of faces that you've seen. There are studies indicating that people that were born blind can't see in their dreams, while those who lost their eyesight during their life can still see images in dreams, but less and less as time goes by. I was overjoyed when I found a girl blind from birth that had the ability of lucid dreaming. Her name was Taylor and she was 22. The things are there, but the blind can't see them, just like in real life, she told me. She could feel her dreams with her hands, and I wanted to know more about it. Taylor was excited to cooperate, and she needed the money, so we started soon. For the first night, I wanted to keep it simple. I used a common Erickson hypnosis technique to induce Taylor to a sleep-like state. Her mind was technically sleeping, but she could still tell me what she saw, or rather what she felt. "Where are you, Taylor?" I asked softly. Although she was blind, all the lights were low to create a comforting atmosphere. I sent my whole team home except for Barbara, my trusted assistant. She was in charge of taking notes. Other than Barbara typing and the vague humming of the computers and air conditioning, everything was perfectly quiet. It seems to be a corridor. I can feel one of the walls. It's cold and sleek. Now I felt the other. I guess it's like 4 meters large. "Good. Are you alone?" "Wait, doctor, I have the urge to run." "I'm running now, still feeling one of the walls." "Oh shit." The girl got a little agitated. I was keeping track of her heart rate with an ECG machine. It was slightly quicker now, but still normal. "What happened, Taylor?" "The wall disappeared. I think it's larger now. And there's a presence some meters behind me, but I still don't hear footsteps or breathing." "Run carefully, Taylor. Remember, it's a dream and they can't hurt you." "Shit," she muttered as her body rapidly contracted. Her heart rate went up a little more, and I noticed the BPM was now consistent with somebody doing light exercise. I fell. "Get up carefully." "I can't, doctor. There's no more floor. I'm falling." She didn't say anything for a good 20 minutes. I nervously called her name a few times, but after a while, I decided to let her be. I can't interfere if I want reliable results. Besides, her heart rate was still okay. Her face contorted once in a while, but her body almost didn't move, other than her chest unevenly breathing. Finally, Taylor's closed eyes started to move rapidly, like in the REM stage. I have a bad feeling. There's a woman in front of me. "Are you feeling her face?" "Yes, it's kind of like mine." "Is it my mother or sister?" Taylor's hand touched under her left ear. "No, she has a little scar. It's me." Taylor seemed to panic. "Hey, it's fine. It's normal to see yourself in a dream, Taylor. Try talking to yourself or exploring the place that you're in." "There's the skin. Gosh, the skin is crumbling in my hands." "You're dreaming of yourself dead, and that's normal too." "But she's standing," Taylor cried. She sounded so young and scared. I looked at Barbara, wordlessly asking if she thought that we should stop. "Screw you! Get this thing out of me!" I calmly induced Taylor out of the hypnotic state. She was trembling and sweating a little, a heart rate compatible with moderate exercise. After assuring that everything was okay and that it was just a dream, I asked Taylor what had happened last. "I don't know, doctor. I just felt that bad presence again, and there was something cold and narrow touching my back. I think it was some kind of helmet." The poor girl was sulky and almost crying. I felt really bad for her. I had a feeling that we could have a breakthrough in this study, but was I putting too much strain on the subject? "This is fascinating, Holly." Barbara put her hand on my shoulder. "You have to keep this study going no matter what. I know something big will come out of it." I smiled, reassured. Barbara was my best pupil, and I hoped that she would take my place as head of the team when I got too old. I offered the girls some coffee, but only Barbara accepted. After a few minutes of calming ourselves down, Taylor got up with the help of her cane and said, "See you tomorrow." I was relieved that she wasn't thinking about giving up. Barbara got up too. She is barely older than Taylor, but I always think of her as someone much more adult, being so strong and reliable. She offered a ride to Taylor. We usually pay our subjects in Uber, especially because most of our studies are developed during the dawn and the public transportation can be sparse or non-existent. But due to her impairment, Taylor would be safer with somebody from my team. I went home. I had a cup of tea and I fell asleep to restless dreams. I woke up with a call from Barbara's mother. My assistant never made it home. It wasn't like Barbara to fall asleep at the wheel, but it was so late in the night. I felt terribly guilty. Was I overworking her? I rushed to the hospital and I spent over 10 hours in the waiting room with her parents. The doctor said that Barbara is probably going to survive, but after seeing her, I almost wish that she doesn't. Due to the crash, her jaw was shattered to smithereens, and the first reconstructive surgery made her face awfully swollen and deformed. I gave the whole team a week off. Barbara managed pretty much everything, so we would all be feeling lost and frustrated. I would go and organize the things before everybody else was back. I thought about giving up. You have to keep this study going no matter what. But Barbara wanted me to continue, so I decided to simply give Taylor a week before our next meeting as well. When I called to let her know that, her voice was full of panic. "Can we please continue today, doctor?" "But Taylor, Barbara was in an awful accident and I can't." "Yes, I know. I was still with her." 2 hours later, I was sitting in front of Taylor in my lab, while Jamie, the 17-year-old intern, furiously took notes. The nature of Barbara's accident was still as inscrutable as before. Taylor explained to me that she had a seizure in the car and Barbara got distracted trying to help her, and then the crash happened. Taylor then felt extreme pain and passed out, but she woke up in her bed without a scratch. This couldn't be real. Barbara's accident happened when she was almost at her house, at least 25 minutes after dropping Taylor back off at her house. Her car GPS showed so. But still, Taylor's explanation was still very plausible, because Barbara never seemed tired during her shift, and she even had a cup of coffee before leaving. Taylor begged me to continue the study immediately, and let her go to the place room yesterday again. For the second time in less than 24 hours, I wired and I hypnotized the subject. She easily guided herself through the already familiar corridor. Once again, when it got larger, she felt a disturbing presence. She then quickened her pace and fell for almost half an hour. After that, she found her crumbly and sticky version again. Taylor then dexterously moved through this unexplored room, finding more completely still and flaky bodies. While feeling them, she touched something insanely cold. "There's a large pipe coming from their backs," she whispered, scared. "I'm walking between them, following one pipe. It seems like there's a lot of people positioned in a circle. After almost an hour of silence, Taylor's heart rate suddenly flatlined. Jamie looked at me in panic. I immediately started to perform chest compressions on Taylor, instructing Jamie to get the defibrillator. I didn't want to use it because, though I theoretically knew how, I never had before. I was scared. The CPR, however, was something that I knew how to do since I was 15. I was panicked too. How could I explain to anybody that a girl died during a simple lucid dreaming study? What would it mean to my career? Would I ever find another person like Taylor? Did I actually do something to jeopardize her life? After 6 long minutes, Taylor was back. She abruptly woke up, heart rate skyrocketing, and she screamed for 3 whole minutes. I know it doesn't sound like much, but you should try listening to that same ear-piercing cry for that long. It's okay, Taylor, it's okay. You're scared because you were pulled out of your trance before time. Everything's alright. Where am I? At the Sleep Institute. It's me, Dr. Holly Simons. People can get confused if they weren't properly dehypnotized. Not after long, her BPM was back to normal. What happened during your last minutes there? The reality broke and I was all turgid inside a bathtub. The liquid, it wasn't water. She pressed her fingers on her temples and started to talk too fast. I had to listen to the transcription many times to understand all of her words. There was electricity all around you like a field if you moved. And it wasn't actually a tub because I was standing. It was more like a vertical tub, and I don't even know if that makes sense. There was a pipe in my back and everything hurt so much. All my veins and arteries were electric wires and the pipe was draining my very being to the machine, and my skin was swollen but at the same time crumbling. And I think my whole body was a battery, with the sole purpose of feeding the machine, and in exchange, the machine created this simulation where I can live a relatively good life instead of being aware of the horrors that are happening to my actual body, and having my mind broken because, if it happens, nothing can feed the machine, and it doesn't want us to know that the only real thing in our existence are the nightmares we have in the darkness of night, when our fake body almost ceases from breathing, because it's so much better to live in a mediocre simulation than knowing that we are alone in the universe, and there's nothing out there but our real bodies suffering, and the machine feeding us with impressions of a non-existent world. Taylor then fell on a catatonic state and didn't talk for 2 whole hours. I decided to drop both her and my intern home and call it a night. If Taylor's symptoms persisted, I would take her to the hospital. The next morning, I woke up to Taylor pounding fiercely on my door. I can't sleep. I'll never sleep again. Please, hypnotize me. As I changed to my work clothes, I texted Jamie promising $100 again. I really only needed somebody to take the notes. The audio recorder helped a lot, but a second person was necessary. Somebody needed to write down information such as Taylor's heartbeat, her eye movement, and so on. In less than an hour, we were at the institute. I performed the hypnosis once again. Taylor frantically headed to the room full of people connected to the pipes. She then screamed no so loud that I thought the very reality around me was shaking. Her eyes were wide open with the purest terror that I had ever seen. What happened? I asked in an urgent tone. I can see with my eyes. Jesus, I wish I couldn't. The pipes are made of human flesh. Barbara is here. She's so ugly, and she's completely destroyed. She will be in a coma forever, and there's no electricity around her. The air is full of shatters. I can see what everybody is connected to. It's black and metallic. It's a gargantuan machine. It's extending. No! From Taylor's mouth came an impossibly large and absurdly black tentacle. It engulfed Jamie in a fraction of a second. The poor teen didn't even have time to scream before being completely erased from existence. The tentacle retracted. I couldn't run. My legs were like jelly, and running from something so immense would be pointless. Like trying to cover a tunnel for trains with the lid from a mayonnaise jar.
Holly.
A voice indescribably old, portentous and evil replaced it, coming from Taylor's mouth. Its words almost hung in the air, too heavy to dissipate.
You wanted to find out what happens during sleep. Everything you know breaks and is replaced by me. You feed me and I mask your pain.
Who are you? I mustered the strength to ask.
You can call me God because I'm the only strong being left in the universe.
I felt hot tears streaming down my cheeks. If I moved 1 inch, my body would fall in a gelatinous puddle and never be reassembled again. It continued.
I'll grant your wish. I'll come get you and show you exactly how it happens. So say your goodbyes because it's impossible to come back.
Before I could process its words, Taylor's body disappeared inside the blackest black too. I know that no one will believe me. I only have audio records of it, and I don't even know if a camera could capture this thing. It was so fast that I almost doubt my sanity. So God is a gargantuan machine that keeps us from seeing how ugly the reality is. And tonight, God comes in the darkest of night for me.